Hi, I'm Janie, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about setting your tensions on a long arm machine. I have some tips that I use for myself, and I thought they might be helpful for you. You want your top thread and your bottom thread to lock in the batting. And if you're using two colors of thread, you don't want the bottom one to pop to the top, and you don't want the top one to pop to the back. You just want to get them nice and even. So you have to have a starting point. So we actually start with the bobbin case and adjust the tension there. And then we adjust the top thread to match that so that we can either pull up the bottom or let it down. So first of all, when we're working with the bobbin case, we make the bobbin like a number 9. See the thread coming down like a number 9? And then it goes right in the case that way. So that's the easiest way to remember. Down the slot and under this little tension arm that's on here. The tension arm is held on by the little bitty screw, and the bigger one is the one that adjusts the tension itself. And that bigger one only has like 2 threads on the bottom of it. It's a really shallow little screw, so you don't want to turn it too many times or it'll fall right out. So when it's under there, under the tension assembly, what you're hoping is that you can adjust a tension so that you could just barely pick the bobbin in its case up. And I usually have my bobbin pretty full when I do this testing, and you can see this one is just falling. I can't quite pick it up off my hand, so the tension is quite loose. But on the Tin Lizzies, there's an extra piece called a pigtail. You can see it right there. And you can add that, and then you'll have the tension that you need in order to suspend that just off your hand a little bit. And that's about where you want to start. If you have a tight tension set on this tension arm here, and you can barely pick it up with that, you can leave it and then not use the pigtail. But I like the pigtail for extra control. Now the other thing that I normally do is I do not change my bobbin threads very often. I stick with a common weight and size. I like 30 Tex. I use a permacore thread in the bottom, and I have all kinds of colors. And this thread, or standard dressmaker's size thread I should say, is the one I even use against gold, and gold metallic and blue metallic. So against a gold metallic I would use a yellow thread, and a blue against a blue metallic, and white against silver metallic, because I run a lot of sparkly threads. So I stick with the same one so I don't have to mess with my bobbin tensions very often. And then after you get this put in the machine, you will sew a little figure 8. You can either have several little hot pad or pot holder size pieces, maybe one with poly, maybe one with cotton, maybe a little pad with a cotton poly blend, because these are the most common battings that we use and most common weights that we use. So you can either sew on the edge of your border. If you have a little extra, you're probably going to trim a little to square your piece when it comes off the machine, or you can sew on one of these pot holder size to test it. But once you sew a little figure 8, you've actually sewn every single direction, and you can turn it over and look at the bottom, and you can adjust your tensions a little tighter or a little looser to pull that bobbin thread up or let it down. If you are struggling with a skinny slippery thread on the top of your machine, you might want to use more guides, because no matter how hard you crank those tensions together, that's still slippery and it's going to come right through there really fast. But if you want to, you can just use the tension assembly for most of it. So that's my tip on setting your tensions on a machine.